welcome. My name is Ashanwa. This is LAJA, a channel dedicated to African fashion, prints, and textiles. If that sounds like your jam, I would love for you to subscribe and follow along this journey. Today is going to be a get ready with me. I'm going to be doing a look inspired by this African boubou. I love it. This is how it looks like. I'm going to be doing a get ready with me while I discuss Ika Proverbs from my book, my ebook, which you can find on my website. Yeah. So I'm going to begin my makeup. I'm going to share the proverb, and I'm going to discuss what I feel it means to me. And I would love to hear what you think the proverb means as well, and how you can apply it to your day-to-day life. Before we begin, you can support my channel by subscribing, liking, and engaging on my videos. I also have products on my website. These earrings you see me wearing right here are available for sale on my website. They are handmade in Nigeria. I also have my ebooks. One is Deceased Textiles, the controversial origins of African prints. And the second book is where we're pulling from over 150 Ika Proverbs you should know. So get something to drink. I have my celery juice. And let's begin. All the makeup I'm using as well is going to be listed in the description box too. So if you wanted to recreate this look, you're able to do that. So today's proverb is, if a porcupine falls amongst thorns, it's difficult to differentiate one from another. Okay, so what does this mean to me? If a porcupine falls amongst thorns, it's difficult to differentiate one from the other. Well, the first thing I can think of is how it ties in with another proverbs, another quote, which is birds of the same feather flock together. So we all know that means that, you're judged by who you surround yourself with, because how does it actually go? The 5 people you surround yourself with define you. So if you surround yourself with good company, you're going to be judged as being good. But if you surround yourself with poor company, then you're also going to be judged as being someone that has poor morals and poor character. So that's what I feel. That's like the first rendition or my first interpretation of this proverb. The next interpretation of the proverb for me is, let's see, I think it's the importance of being able to blend in with social situations, kind of like reading the room, knowing your surroundings. Because if you're in a space where people act a certain way, I'm not saying that you should forsake your individuality or personal morals, values, and beliefs just to fit in. But to a certain extent, you do need to succumb to your surroundings to achieve goals. So I think the importance of being able to blend in, read the room, and adjust yourself accordingly is another interpretation of this, or another way it can be applied into your life. And again, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I'm just giving what my thoughts are on this. And yeah, because porcupines have the spikes on their backs. And I forgot to light my incense. Excuse me. Let me light my incense. So porcupines have thorns on their back, and thorns are spiky. And And quite literally, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be comfortable for a porcupine to be amongst thorns. Yes, a porcupine may have spikes, but thorns are that's just not a comfortable environment to be in the first place. So I don't know. I'm a little bit apprehensive about this one. I'm a little bit apprehensive about this one because I can't imagine how the porcupine felt being amongst thorns. Like, that's just not a good feeling. Do you see what I'm trying to say? It's not. I'm using the Natasha Denona mini trichrome palette. This palette is so pretty. Honestly, I'm gonna go and use this blue on my eyelid. I think, yeah, this blue. Or should I use the dark up? I think I'll use this blue. I just realized that I left my lipstick in my handbag, so I'm going to go and get that real quick and we'll resume. Okay. So as I was saying, I think another interpretation of the proverb, because yes, porcupines are, what's it called? They have sharp thorns, but it doesn't still mean that they want to live amongst thorns, if that makes sense, because that's not a comfortable environment for anyone, including porcupines. So I think it could also be a tale of like self-sabotage, in the sense that the purpose of the porcupine having the thorns is for protection. But sometimes the things that we use for protection can cause us to harm ourselves in a certain sense, because if someone is passing by the thorn bush or whatever, they won't be able to see the porcupine because the porcupine has its thorns on its back. So the passerby is going to assume, oh yeah, like he's, that's not, it's fine in there, because it looks just like the rest of them. It looks like it will fit right in. But the underside of the porcupine is soft. So the outside is spiky and dangerous, but the inside of the porcupine is soft. And you can imagine how it would feel being surrounded by those thorns, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I think it's almost kind of like the shields that we put up to help protect ourselves from other people. Depending on the environments we're in, it can almost like harm us. So it might be in a toxic environment, but because we have our shields up, we're not able to attract external help to help pull us out of that environment so that we can actually thrive. Does that make sense? I hope I'm explaining this correctly. Like a porcupine does not belong in a thorn bush. It doesn't really matter. Just because it looks like it doesn't mean it belongs there. Thorns are thorns. And no one deserves to live in an environment like that. So, yeah. I would say that's my final interpretation of that proverb. It's definitely an interesting one. I can't think of any other um meanings right now. Um, so I would love to know your thoughts on what that proverb means. Cause I know a lot of times we have, like, we as humans, we have shields that we use to defend ourselves. But what happens when that shield we have up becomes the same thing that blocks help? Because when you're blocking bad experiences from coming in, guess what? If your shield is up so high or too strong, you also block help from coming in. Does that make sense? So one just has to be careful about being able to acclimatize to the environment, because I can't help but think that maybe the porcupine fell into the thorns by mistake. Like, it wasn't like something that he woke up or he or she woke up and was like, yeah, I'm going to lay in a bed of thorns, like, come on now. I don't think that's how it works. So it's definitely unfortunate. I don't think animals are that masochistic to do something like that on purpose. So I think it was absolutely a mistake. So I think the biggest thing is just awareness, being self aware and being self conscious. Because if you're self conscious, you'll be able to tell, like, okay, hey, this environment that I'm in is unhealthy, it's toxic. And even though I may have certain attributes of the people around here, it's also harming me in the process. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Because we all have good and bad things in us. We're not, like, no one is perfect. We all have healthy attributes and unhealthy attributes. We all have things that we use and manners that we use to defend ourselves. But self-awareness is what helps us determine, okay, am I using the right defenses in the right situations? Like, is this called for at this time? And if you lack self-awareness, you're not going to be able to make that distinction, and you can find yourself in an environment that is harming you, but because you have your defenses up, or you have, because let's just say the porcupines are like defenses and belief systems that we have. But because we have certain belief systems and defenses up, we may not realize that we've wandered into a toxic environment. And from the outside, people might think, oh yeah, he or she is doing good, like, look at them, she just fits right in, she doesn't seem like she needs any help and things like that. But that's not necessarily the case. So you're suffering in silence. That's what I can really think from what the porcupine might be going through. The porcupine is suffering in silence. And I think this just goes into, if you could take this even deeper, the importance of just not judging a book by its cover. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you don't know what people are going through. You really don't. So it's important to be kind and look deeper, because I feel like people just look on the outside. Like the porcupines spikes are on the outside, so people look at it and it's like, oh my gosh, I would never touch that. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So Yeah, and even from a spiritual context, I wonder what porcupines signify spiritually. I would love to know that. Maybe I should actually Google it. Let me see. Porcupine. Let's see. Porcupine spiritual. We're all learning together. So, according to porcupines, so in many cultures, the porcupine is a symbol of wisdom and foresight. The sharp quills and night vision illustrate the importance of clear perception and intuition. While its quills are sharp and intimidating, the porcupine is still a timid and peaceful creature. So I just learned from on here that porcupines signify wisdom and foresight, and porcupines have sharp night visions. So for a porcupine to actually have made it into a bed of thorns, it shows that there's an impairment in that vision. So I knew I was onto something, because a porcupine does not belong on thorns. And just because it naturally has sharp vision and it's a naturally peaceful person. So you can see how the outside of the porcupine doesn't even reflect the insides of the porcupine. Does that make sense? It's just what's the word? It's simply an illusion. I mean, of course, it's necessary for protection and whatnot, but the fact that the porcupine actually wandered into a bed of thorns despite having strong night vision shows me that its vision was impaired and something is definitely wrong. So you remember when I spoke about how the importance of being self-aware and having foresight, or in this case intuition, because I feel like your daytime vision is your normal sight and your nighttime vision in this case is your inner sight. So your intuition, your gut feeling, essentially that's what that means to me. And in this case it's impaired and it wandered into an environment that was toxic for it. And because of its nature, how it looks, people are unable to differentiate the good from the bad, the wheat from the chaff. Oh my gosh, I'm preaching. That was good. Okay, so I think that is what the proverb means to me. I know I was all over the place, but I am not taking any notes. I don't have any notes prepared for this video. I'm just kind of like raw dogging it. And sharing what comes to mind while I'm doing my makeup, which is, I won't say it's difficult, but yeah, there's no script on here. I'm flowing. So tell me, what do you think this proverb means, or what do you think of my interpretation? What does it mean to you? I really want to know. So leave a comment and share your thoughts. Let's have a conversation. And I want to actually make this even more personal. Can I think of a time in my life when I had my defenses up so much that I blocked myself from receiving help? Let me think. Because I want to make this, see how I can personalize this proverb and see if I can share something that would help someone. Because that's the point of this video, or me introducing proverbs into my Get Ready With Me's. Honestly, I can't really think of a story because I'm generally someone that likes to receive help. Or actually, yeah, I actually have a story, and this is when I was like much younger and I didn't know any better. Um, so I used to box. This was when I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. I used to take boxing classes because honestly, I loved it. I'm an Aries. I'm an Aries stellium. So I have Aries in my Sun, Mars, and Mercury. So that makes me an Aries stellium. So when I was like in my early 20s, I used to love boxing. And I still love it now, but I just haven't found a nice gym that I resonate with, so I stopped. Um, but anyways, the hands down the best boxing gym I've visited in my entire life. I haven't found a gym that has topped it for me. Um, it was black owned. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's called Dime Boxing. I don't know if any of you have heard from it, but if you're in the Charlotte area and you're looking for a boxing gym, like that is the one to attend. Like it's so good. Coach James is amazing, and I hope he's well. Anyways, so I ran out of gas in my car and I left my wallet at home. And mind you, I lived like 30 minutes away. So there was no way my car was going to make it back home. Let me apply my lips liner. There was no way my car was going to make it back home. With the amount of gas I had in my car. So a guy in the gym had offered, and mind you, I think I was like 21, 22. I was super young, so please don't judge me and whatnot. I wouldn't do that today. But the guy had offered to put gas in my car. To which I said yes, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'll pay you back. And mind you, it wasn't that much money. It was like, cause I think to fill my car was like $20. Cause I drove. Well, I still drive. A Toyota Prius. It's very um um fuel friendly. Is that the word? Okay. It doesn't take a lot of gas fuel. And so the guy put gas in my car and I was like, oh my gosh, I'll pay you back. And he was like, oh no, it's fine, like it's just like $20, like it's not that big of a deal. And then for me, I don't know, I didn't know any better, and I didn't want him to feel like I owed him anything. I'm not this way now anymore, thankfully. Like I receive help a lot easier and I allow people to do things for me. I actually really enjoy people doing things for me. It makes me feel cared for because acts of service is one of my love languages. Or it's one of the ways I love to receive love. It meant so much to me. And yeah. Long story short, I paid him back, even though he was like, no, I don't need the money, like it's all good. And I was like, no, just take it, like I don't, just take it, like it's all good. And he took it, and I could see that his face kind of like dropped and things like that. But I just didn't want to feel like I owed him anything, if that makes sense. And I think that's one example of a time when I almost like I blocked a blessing. I should have just accepted it and said thank you and kept it moving. But I was just so insistent on not trying to prove that I was independent, but not wanting to feel like I owed him anything. Yeah, I just was bad at receiving at that point in my life. And yeah, I gave him back the money. Now I wouldn't do that again, especially since he insisted that he doesn't need it, and I would just allow him help me. So that was the time that where I had my guard so up that I blocked my own blessing, essentially. And yeah, that is it. So this is the final look. I'm happy we kind of completed in time for the video. I'm going to rub my perfume now. I am wearing I'm wearing Choco Musk. I have it's an Arabian Middle Eastern perfume by El Rehab, but I have the perfume oil, so I'm going to go in first with the perfume oil. So I'm going to rub that in on all the important areas. And then I'm going to go in with the perfume. The stuff smells amazing. It smells like chocolate. So good. Just spray right on top of the perfume. This stuff smells amazing. And that's the final look. Should I wear my wig? I feel like the look is complete. This is how I plan to wear this look. But I think I'm just going to wear the wig and take a picture of it in my thumbnail. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Again, leave your thoughts of the proverb down in the description. And if you wanted to share a personal way that it relates to you like I did, I would love to hear it as well. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.